What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be showcasing the new Springans cards released in Photon Hypernova, as I'll be starting with the Field Spell and the Springans Brothers, which can really be any level 4 Springans monster that can reattach itself. As you see, these Springans monsters, for the most part, have an effect that reads, if this card is in your hand, field, or graveyard, you can target one Springans Exceed monster you control, attach this card to it as material, and you can only use each effect of Brothers once per turn. So that is kind of an archetype thing that a lot of monsters in the Springans archetype have that, as we're going to use the Mary's effect in order to foolish the Captain Sargas, which, as you can see, its first line of text also has the ability to reattach itself to an Exceed monster, but now we're going to do just that, as we're going to attach the Brothers and the Sargas onto the Mary, and from here, because we have the 3 materials that we need, we're going to go into our first new card, Champion Sargas, and this one takes 2+ level 8 monsters. Once per turn, you can also Exceed summon Gigantic Champion Sargas by using one Springans Exceed monster you control, which is how we summoned it. Transfer its materials to this card. If this card has material, you can add one Springans or Therion card from your deck to your hand. If a materials is detached from a monster on the field, except during the damage step, you can target one card on the field and either destroy it or return it to the hand. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. So a card that you've probably seen in my previous videos, which was used for Scythe locking before Scythe got banned, but now we'll actually be using it in the archetype, as we'll be adding our second new card with it, and I'll be calling it Tally, as it reads, when you activate this card, you can also detach up to 3 materials from monsters you control. Add one Springans monster from your deck to your hand, then if you detach materials at activation, you can special summon that many Springans monsters from your hand and or graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Exceed monster on the field, detach material from it, and if you do, add this card to your hand. You can only use one Tally effect per turn and only once that turn. So a great card that can turn Sargas into a destroy a card or return it to the hand with whichever effect you choose to use of it. And I'm going to show the 3 different things that you can do as my first 3 replays for this video, as I'm just going to set it for this first one. And this first one is just all about using the Springans cards, really, as we're going to activate the Tally on our opponent's turn whenever we want to do something, as we're going to get all our monsters back, and then these Sargas will be able to pop a card on their side of the field or return it to the hand. In this case, it's a field spell, so we'll pop it. And keep in mind that if Sargas still has a material on it, then you would be able to use the Captain Sargas in order to detach a material from it and then destroy a face-up card on the field during your opponent's turn. Now, I'll be showing the second use for this same combo, as it'll pretty much start the same way as the previous one, using the field spell, pitching the Brothers and bringing out the Mary, then foolishing a level 4 this time. As long as it can re-equip itself and it's a level 4 Springans, you're fine, but we're going to re-equip the 2 or reattach the 2, as we're going to go into our Sargas, then use the Sargas effect, getting our Tally, and this time we're actually going to activate the Tally, as we're going to detach all materials from it, add ourselves the Branga, and then we can special summon out the 3 Springans, including the Branga from our hand, as we're going to link away into Mask, and then because we have 2 level 4s, we can just make Dweller here, and this will be the first thing that you can do in regards to using Tally on your own turn, as you'll also be able to get the Branga's effect to search in order to give you the discard for the IP into Unicorn if you end up going into that. The third version here is definitely the most potent one, as you'll see we're going to start by activating the field spell, then from here we can pitch the Brothers with the field spell as we're going to bring out the Mary. The Mary will then use its effect as we're going to send another level 4 this time. Again, it just has to be level 4 machine that can reattach itself or re-equip, as we're going to go into the Sargas with the Mary once we finish attaching, and then from here we can use the Sargas, get ourselves the Tally. The Tally can then use its effect as we're going to detach all 3, get ourselves the Branga, special summon back the monsters, and now we'll go into our Gear Gigant X this time around, as we're going to use its effect, getting us the Stein, and now we can link away into the Platinum Gadget, and this will allow us to special summon out the Stein from our hand, as we're going to pay the 5,000 life points in order to get Exterio, so as we can now link away the X and the Stein for the Masquerena, and then use the Branga in order to get the discard if you end up up going into Unicorn. Are you finding this video helpful? If it is, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. Clicking on those notification bells would also mean a lot, as they notify you when I upload on the channel. So in this next combo here, I'll be showing the quote-unquote spice here with the Fenrir, and you only need a Springans level 4 that can normal summon itself. It doesn't really have to do anything, but we're going to get our Rise Heart, normal summon the brothers as we're going to special summon out the Rise Heart, lock ourselves into Exceeds, but that's perfectly fine as we've only been using Exceeds, and we're going to use the Mary's effect, which will allow us to dump a level 4 machine this time. Again, we're going for kind of the same stuff as previously. The 2-card combos that I showed really show a lot of what the deck does, and the directions that you can take can vary as they'll continue to show from here. As I'm going to use the Sargas, bring ourselves the Tally, we can then use the Tally, which will get us the Sargas while detaching all 3. Then we can bring out the bodies, as now we can go into our Redoor. And the cool thing here is how you'll actually be able to get multiple disruptions via the Sargas being able to detach one from Redoor, which would also trigger the Sargas, and then you also have the Fenrir in order to interact with your opponent. Now we'll get into the heavier combos with this one, and this will probably be a quicker video than most of my other ones because of how often you're kind of just going for the same stuff. But from here we're going to activate the field spell here, as we're going to use its effect pitching the brothers, and then we can special summon out the Mary, use its effect as we can send the Sargas. Then we'll activate the Watch from here, as we're going to get a search and a dump with it, as we get the Branga to our hand along with a level 4 that we can reattach, as we're going to do just that. And I think we're actually going to just attach everything in this replay, as you'll see momentarily. Yeah, as we're using the Branga as well, and it's because we want to stack up as many materials as we can with Sargas, so that when we resummon everything with Tally, we still have materials for its pop that we can detach. But you'll see that we're going to activate the Tally, get the bodies back. We have 2 level 8s this time, along with a level 4 on board, and we also haven't used our normal summon, so we'll do just that, as we're going to go into Hope this time, go into Dweller, and this will give us our end board. Now, for this next hand, I'll be showing what you can do with High Spirits and kind of why you play it, and we also have the Fenrir, so we're going to special summon out the Fenrir, getting the Rise Heart. We can now activate the Branded in High Spirits, as we'll be able to send the Sprint, pitch the brothers, and get ourselves the kit. We'll now be able to special summon out the kit along with the Rise Heart. This will stop us from having to use our normal summon, as we're going to go into the Mary. We can then use the Mary's effect to dump, as we're going to dump the P there, and then from here we're going to use the effects to reattach here, as we're going to go into the Sargas. After we do, use the Sargas effect to get us the Tally. From here we can activate the Tally, use the effect to bring back all the monsters along with add one, as we're going to be able to start making our board now with 2 level 4s and 2 more level 4s with what we're going to get to normal summon, so we'll have Dweller and Redoer this time to pair with our Fenrir and the Sargas pop that you get from the detach off of Redoer or Dweller. So this will be the final hand that I'll be doing, and it's a lot of the same stuff that you saw previously, except I think this time I'll be doing the Cyberstein route, as we're going to special summon out the Fenrir, use its effect getting us the Rise Heart, activate the field spell. From here we can use the field spell, pitching the brothers, then we can get our Mary. We'll then be able to use the Mary to bump the Sargas, as we're going to use the brothers reattaching itself, as well with the Sargas, as we're going to get our material or our champion Sargas as we go into it, and then we'll be able to use the Sargas to get our Tally, as we're now going to activate the Tally, get our bodies back on board, and now we can special summon out the Branga that we searched off of Tally, special summon out the 2 other Springans, as we got another level 8, and this is so that we can go into Hope, as we're now going to use the Smasher's effect, banishing a Springans from our graveyard to get ourselves another level 4 from deck, as we get brothers, and we're going to do this to go into the Gigant X, as we're going to use the X effect, get ourselves the Stein, then we can link away the Sargas along with Year, as we're going to go into our Platinum, use the Platinum to bring out the Stein. From here we can use the Stein's effect, which will get us the Exterio, bring out the Rise Heart with its effect, and this will give us a rank 7 play, as this is another option that you have as we go into the Shang here. So with all the combos out of the way, I'd like to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day before I get into the deck profile, as you'll see that I'm actually not playing the Cyberstein stuff due to the space and because Riseheart just felt like brought more consistency to the deck. You should definitely feel free to play it the way that you want to, as there's a bunch of different versions of this deck that you can play. With the Fenrir's added, you also get sort of 9 slots for going second cards with the Fenrir's, the Book of Eclipse, and the Evenleys, which is kind of nice. You'll see that out of all the Springans monsters that we play, the only ones that can't attach themselves are Kit, and that's perfectly fine because we play the Branded in High Spirits package, which basically just loops itself. As long as you have a card to return off of Kit that you want to return, this is a deck where you don't necessarily need to return or even search the Branded in High Spirits that would make you return. So don't feel bad when you don't get the add off of its effect, as we also have the Smashers to also get another level 4 body on board, as you saw, and being able to banish from the graveyard is just immense, as you're able to dodge having to give up all your resources when you do so, and even if you have to banish a Springans from hand, you're still able to get the level 4 body on board that can turn into 3 extra bodies with the ability to revive stuff from Tally. As for the options, I got inspiration from this list from a list that topped a while ago. I saw that it had the Branded Fusion engine instead. I just happen to like the Kashtira stuff because locking into Exceed is a lot more manageable in this deck, as you don't need to link summon as much, especially if you don't go the Platinum Gadget route, which when you go the Platinum Gadget route, your first turn basically really does center kind of hard around this play, which is also extremely susceptible to hand traps, so that is something to take into account when playing it. The Charmers are other cool stuff that you can add. As you see, we already have Dark. Because the majority of your Springans are fires, and even Riseheart is fire, Hida can be a good option. Fenrir being earth, and having Kashtira as a deck allows Asa to be another option to revive Fenrir's. And then the other options that I'd like to glance over are the other Exceed options here, as the Photon Lord can help you play around monster negations. If you don't want the spell negate, then the Bagu can be a replacement for Dweller if you happen to have a harder time against Kashtira, and graveyard stuff seem to be falling out of the format. And then of course you have Big Eye over the Shang, but I like the ability of Shang being able to go first. Then I would also like to add that the hero package that you see here is really just if Fenrir ever did get limited and you didn't want to play any of the other versions, then this is something else that you can do. Just dump in 3 A Hero Lives and 2 Stratos, special summon out 1 Stratos, search the other, normal summon that one, get into your Mary if you happen to brick. Otherwise it's just a level 4 body, so it does cost half your life points. With all of that out of the way, I think I can get onto the card by card. So we have 1 copy of Branga, the 3 Brothers, the 3 Sargas, the 3 Kit, the 3 Branded in High Spirits, 3 Fenrir, 2 Risehearts, the 1 P, the 1 Rocky, the 1 Booty, the 3 Bold, the 3 Eclipse, the 3 Smashers, the 3 Tallies, the 3 Evenly, the 3 Watch, and the 1 Paraisos to round out the main deck. To the extra deck, we have the Unicorn, Dark, Mask, Sprind, Zeus, Hope, Riseheart, Shang, 2 copies of Sargas, 1 copy of Explorer, the 2 copies of Mary, the 1 copy of Redoer, and the 1 copy of Abyss Dweller or Baguska round out the deck profile. But anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.